The Battle of Segesvár was a battle in the Hungarian Revolution of 1848, fought on the 31st of July 1849 between the Hungarian Revolutionary Army supplemented by Polish volunteers under the command of General Józef Bem and the Russian Fifth Corps under General Alexander von Lüders in ally with the Austrian army led by General Eduard Clam-Gallas. The battle was won by the Russian-Austrian army, and it is presumed that the Hungarian poet and national hero Sándor Petőfi died in the battlefield, though his body was never found. Hungarian order of battle. Bem had returned to Transylvania after a sally to Moldavia against Russian forces under the command of General Ostrogov. He prepared an offensive against the Russian army group under General Grotenielm. He had to cancel this offensive because he got information that the Lüders, having captured the Vorostorony Pass and the city of Nagyszeben, was advancing towards him. Bem knew that a battle against Lüders would be decisive for the campaign in Transylvania, so he decided to concentrate his forces. He sent orders to Colonel Kemeny, commander of the Kolozsvár division, that it was to go to Segesvár and support the main Hungarian forces in the fight against the Russian Fifth Corps. The remnants of 4 Nagyszeben divisions and parts of the Brasso and Háromszék divisions were to concentrate in Székelykeresztúr, which Bem occupied. Colonel Dobé's group had to move from Felszírakos across Coelum to Székelykeresztúr in order to support the army group. All of these forces under Bem's command added about 10 to 12,000 infantry and cavalry soldiers and more than 30 cannon. However, in the event Bem only had 6,000 soldiers and 12 cannon on the field. The right wing of the Hungarian army consisted of a battalion of infantry with 2 supporting cannons placed near the road from Udvarhely to Fejeregihaza. The Hungarian centre included 8 cannons along with cavalry and 4 infantry formations. 2 infantry battalions were positioned on the left wing, above the adduction of a stream crossing the road from Segesvár to Fejeregihaza. Reserves were placed about 1,000 meters from the front. Russian order of battle. Lüders had under his command about 12,000 soldiers and 30 cannon. He was worried that an attack by the Hungarian reinforcements would come from a side road to Marosvásárhely. So he defended it with 3 rifle regiments from Zamość, 16 cannon, 5 sapper battalions, 4 squadrons from Prince Danasaur Ulan regiment, 1 division of horse and a Cossack squadron. He placed a rifle infantry regiment from Lublin on the route to Udvarhely, with 5 rifle battalions, 12 cannon, another 4 squadrons of cavalry and 3 squadrons of Cossacks, placing General Engelhardt in command of the group. He positioned a Cossack reconnaissance squadron on the route to Fogaras. The artillery battalion was placed on the route to Megyes. In addition to these forces, Lüders had the support of Austrian allies under General Clam-Gallas. His group, consisting of 6 infantry battalion, some Cossacks units, and 6 or 8 cannon, was ordered to join forces with Fifth Corps. After getting intelligence at 8 a.m. that Hungarian forces had been seen from the road to Udvarhely, the commander of Fifth Corps ordered his chief of staff to prepare to fight the column of General Orlov. Skariatin moved his column to the ford across the Segesvár-Fejeregihaza road. He placed 6 cannon, defended by an infantry battalion, on the right side of road. 2 more cannon were positioned on the road along with the 2nd Battalion. A 3rd Battalion established position to the right of the road at the edge of a forest covering Mount Waldenberg. Parts of the 5th Battalion were stationed on the peak of that mountain. A left wing, slightly behind the center, was composed of cavalry, Cossacks, and a few cannons. Lüders kept 2 infantry battalions and some artillery in reserve. After observing the Hungarians establish their positions, Lüders was certain that the main attack would come from Marosvásárhely. Battle. After 10 a.m., Bem began strong artillery fire on the main group of the Russian army and began to advance his left wing. During the fighting, a bullet mortally wounded Sighişoara. Command passed to General Ewin. The fighting was fierce for about 3 hours. At about 2 p.m., Russian resistance on the right wing began to weaken. Ewin sent 2 companies of the 1st Battalion to reinforce their position. The commander of 5th Corps ordered the reserve artillery and cavalry to attack the Hungarian right wing, on the other side of the field. Lüders, after getting information that Hungarian reinforcements from Marosvásárhely had not appeared, sent formations to secure that road. After the arrival of the artillery battery and some cavalry units, General Ewin's cavalry began to encircle the Hungarian right wing. After breaking the hussars, the Russian cavalry moved around the rear of the Hungarians. The Hungarians began to retreat to Segesvár as their front collapsed, with the Russians in pursuit. Meanwhile, the column of Colonel Bellony was defeated by General Clam-Gallas's troops. Casualties. The Hungarian army lost about 1,200 men dead, 500 captured, and 8 cannon. Losses to the Russians are not known. Sándor Petőfi, the Hungarian revolutionary and poet, disappeared in the battle, and is supposed to have died in it. Aftermath. Hungarian forces withdrew to Marosvásárhely where they joined the Kolozsvár division, after which they continued to Nagyszeben. There, Bem won his last victory against Russian General Hasford's group. Gallery. Józef Zacharias Bem. Alexander von Lüders. Eduard Clam-Gallas. Monument of the Battle of Segesvár in Segesvár. Inscription on the obelisk of the Battle of Segesvár. Statue of Sándor Petőfi in Segesvár.